this is another thing I thought of doing, which would be SCP readings. I'm going to read you one of them. I'm going to do it, see if you like me reading it. And I'm not going to read everything because this one is way too long. But yeah, so we have SCP-247, the Harmless Kitty. Item number SCP-247. Object Class Euclid. Special Containment Procedures. SCP-247 is kept in an enclosure of at least 20 by 40 meters, furnished based on the plans provided by the redacted zoo, and lined with SCP-148 offset from the rest of the site blank by at least 50 meters in order to mitigate its psychic effects. As for current containment procedures for SCP-148, it is used and the containment of other SCPs is to be avoided if at all possible. 05 blank. SCP-247 is to be fed 18 kilograms of fresh meat on a tri-weekly basis. Feeding occurs in a separate enclosure. Cleaning staff should enter the enclosure only during designated feeding times. No other access to the enclosure is allowed. The footage resulting from any violation of this order is to be archived and used for training the cleaning and monitoring staff of SCP-247. In case of a containment breach, the entire wing must be evacuated and all live footage of the incident heavily censored. The area SCP-247 occupies will be sealed off and gassed, following by the return of SCP-247 to containment. If for any reason this should be impossible, a retrieval team will be sent and armed with heavy tranquilizer rifles. Retrieval team agents must be selected specifically for high reflexes, excellent marksmanship, unquestionable obedience, and low empathy scores. Description: SCP-247 is a Bengal tiger, Pantherus tigers, adult female, which at all observers appears to be a harmless cat, Felis catus, juvenile female, with an orange and black striped coat resembling that of a tiger. Remote feeds in this photo shows this illusion, although it is unknown whether the photo itself is being affected or merely the observer. SCP-247's true nature has been confirmed by analysis of weight and water displacement into mounds made from bite marks. It is unknown exactly how SCP-247 generates this illusion, and there are two components to the illusion. First, a mimetic effect that changes the perceived image of SCP-247 to that of a kitten, and the second, a psychic component, which radiates outward from the subject, diminishing according to an interval square law and reaching half strength at blank meters. Any sentient being within the field comes under the impression that SCP-247 is completely harmless regardless of prior knowledge or experience. Individuals in this field have shown extreme reluctance to harm or allow others to harm SCP-247, even while being actively harmed by the subject. This psychic field has been blocked with SCP-148, or avoided by striking from a well outside the effective range. The mimetic effect is not blocked by SCP-148 as of yet. No one has been able to see SCP-247 as anything but a small striped cat. Typically, SCP-247 will begin to purr or mew when approached by a human. The human will remark that this is adorable and approach the pet subject. This is observed even in people who strongly dislike cats. SCP-247 has been known to accept affection from its victims for upwards of 7 minutes before disemboweling and devouring them. Genetic analysis shows slight deviation from its typical Bengal tiger genotype, indicating the possible contamination. Data expunge. All further breathing experience require O5 level approval. The resulting hybrids are to be designated SCP-247-1. See experiment log 247A-14 for more details. Well, for this SCP, it has a lot of experiments taking place on it, so I'm going to just real quick read a few of them. Just like 2 or 3. So first off, experiment logs 247A-12. Date, blank blank 2010. Test subject, an adult female grizzly bear. Control test A. Control fled up a tree in terror. Subject ignored it. Control test B. Subject and control acted nervously and gave each other as large a berth as possible. Results. Initially, subject and SCP-247 ignored each other. At one point, subject became very close to SCP-247, resulting in SCP-247 giving a warning growl. Subject responded with hostility. Test aborted due to the possible harm of SCP-247. Subject tranquilized by Foundation personnel and subsequently killed by SCP-247. Note: future tests involving animals potentially capable of killing or injuring a Bengal tiger are cancelled. SCP Experiment Log 247A-13. Date: blank blank 2010. Test subject: an adult female Bengal tiger. Control test A. Control fled up a tree in terror. Subject ignored it. Control test B. Subject and control agreed each other, established the order of social dominance, and then both fell asleep. Results identical to control test B. Note: interestingly, SCP-247 was the beta animal in this interaction. Researcher blank. Experiment Log 247-14. Date: blank blank 2010. Test subject: adult male Bengal tiger. Control test A. Control fled up a tree in terror. Subject ignored it. Control test B. Unadmitted record of normal Bengal mating behavior substituted. Resulted as expected in base of control B. Notes: researcher S has been removed from his ranks to lax security in his experience. Although the light of his injuries, further disciplinary measures have been deemed unnecessary. Data expunged, which seems to have been benefited from the form of a hybrid vigor, which has been designated SCP-247-1, considering that SCP-247 is likely to have bred naturally in the wild. Mobile Task Force IOTA-5 Tiger Bait has been formed and assigned to hunt down and contain and destroy all instances of hybrid SCP-247-1, OP-blank. So that was SCP-247, or the Harmless Kitty. Really, I just like him because he's like, when you start reading it, you don't think anything of it, and then as you read on more, you realize how dangerous this guy is and how self-securing you feel until he kills you. Now, there was like 4 or 5 other tests that were done, but I didn't have time to read them all. I tried doing that in the previous recording, and well, it failed miserably. But yeah, anyways, I hope you enjoyed this. If you liked it, please leave a like. If you hated it, please just let me know. If you liked it and want me to do more, please suggest them in the comments below. I will leave a description in the description this SCP, just in case you want to read the other experiments. Anyways, I think that's it. Have a nice day. I hope you enjoyed. Goodbye.